Alright, so today we're going to talk about, or in this video rather, we're going to talk about realistic deployment of enemy assets, including base construction and unit deployment. So, when you're deploying units onto the battlefield or onto the map, whatever, you got to think realistically when you do it. So, for example, if I were the enemy, would I put an AA gun right here? Doesn't really make sense, right? There's not a lot of usefulness to per se. This thing is probably not going to take out any aircraft or really anything for that matter. It's got no sight lines. What about a tank, right? Okay. Same thing here. It doesn't have a whole lot of sight lines, so unless you are really having it target a very specific location, this doesn't really make sense. Now, what about this? Well, this is a little bit better, right? It's got a much wider field of view. It's got a lot of airspace it can cover from here, and it's fairly hidden. You know what I mean? Same for this guy. This guy is very well hidden, but has a great sight line down this road. What, that's quite the distance. So he can engage a lot of targets from there. So that would be some examples of deploying units realistically in realistic positions. Now, keep in mind that's not always going to be the case. That's a given, but if you're consistently putting units where it doesn't make sense, it's not good. So let's talk about bases, right? Here's a radar installation. Does this installation make sense? No. For one, there's not a lot of there's a lot of trees in the way and whatnot, so it's kind of limiting its ability. And two, think of how they would truck this in, right? Helicopter wouldn't be able to get in here very well to bring all this stuff in. And yes, I guess trucks could come through these woods and deploy this, but it would be a pain in the butt and probably not worth it, right? So that's not the greatest. Now what about over here? This makes a little more sense. It's a lot more open. In fact, I would even move it further out into the open, and then you could put some supporting bases around it. But see, this can control a lot more of the airspace, right? It can do a lot better at what it's supposed to do. So those are some examples of realistic deployments of assets. So try your best to keep it realistic. Think what the enemy would do. Think in real life how it would go down. Would they be able to do this? Would they do this? Because sometimes, we're talking about enemies that have lots and lots of money. Of course, they can just do whatever they want, but would they? Would it make tactical sense for them to do that? So let's move on to the next video.
Hello there. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, drop a like and a comment, and turn on notifications with that little bell. If you'd like to join my Discord server, you can do so by visiting the link in the description.